What's going on, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Selly, powered by FTN Bets, presented by PointsBet Canada, right here live on our FTN Network YouTube page, also on Game Plus Network, part of Anthem Sports and Entertainment. Chris Meaney and the Eric Young here with you on this Thursday. 11 games on the ice to break down in the NHL. My goodness, 11 games. Holy crap. Just 2 tomorrow, 3 last night. And this is the way the schedule is the rest of the way, breaking down the fantasy hockey playoff guide, which is free. Link inside the description of this video. If it's not there while you're watching live, it will be at the end of this video. I'll make sure that it is there for all the fantasy hockey people out there. Next week is the final week for some to get into the fantasy hockey playoffs. Or head-to-head playoffs will start. I think the standard would be 2 weeks from now. So you still have a little bit of time to punch your ticket into the playoffs. Of course, this is a betting show, but we do like to talk a lot of fantasy hockey. We are true NHL psychos here. We combined have a ton of fantasy hockey leagues that Eric and I play in. And if you guys, too many for sure. But if you guys are looking to be part of the family in terms of a betting package, use promo code Meaney, save yourself a little bit of cash over at ftnbets.com. We're still having free trials on both of our websites, ftndaily.com/free, ftnbets.com/free. Daily is a DFS website. We have articles every single day. Our guy Kenneth Lee already he's a true psycho. I know he's on the West Coast. So for me on the far East Coast, games start pretty late. DraftKings and FanDuel don't put out their pricings until pretty late. But when he's on the West Coast, it's like 8, 9 o'clock his time. I wake up in the morning and the articles are already live, and it's great. But fun conversation in the FTN Daily Discord channel, and projections, tools, bets across all sports. And in the month of March, it's all happening, Eric. Madness around the corner. Baseball's back here. Spring training already happening. NBA, NHL push, NFL draft props, got a few in there as well. All signs point to potentially Aaron Rodgers joining the Jets. We'll see what happens there. A lot to get to, though. Man, you had me in stitches last night when you tagged me on Twitter. How about Randy F? Just a ticked off Canadians fan that has nothing to do with the Hurricanes.
You know about my theory that's your shadow name into the dark parts of social media. You're going as Randy F. F might stand for the 4-letter word that you use so eloquently in this message. And I know that we go long, but the whole thing should be read live. It's art. It really is art.
Maybe I'll read it. Let me read a couple lines here. I actually haven't brought it up. So
you should.
I'm going to
read it.
Yeah, I'm going to read it. I'm not even going to have to read it. I'll just rant here off the top of my head here, off the top of Dangle Bet Selly. So for anybody who didn't see it, Randy F. I don't know. Did he write a message to the Carolina Hurricanes? Was it on their website? Was it on their YouTube page?
Yeah, it might be an email. It might be I'm thinking it's a direct message to the Hurricanes or to one of the broadcasters.
Yeah. I should have actually.
You would know best. This is your message.
I should have got George to make a board of this to show you guys the visual, but I'm going to read it off here. So this is from Randy F. And the Carolina Hurricanes tweeted out yesterday, said sending love to Randy today with the heart emoji. Says, I have lived and died with the Montreal Canadiens for over 50 years. I know I'm supposed to hate Toronto and Boston the most, but I don't. I hate Carolina the most. I hate everything about them. I hate that they replaced the Hartford Whalers. I hate that they're good at drafting. I hate Justin Williams' stupid unpenalized high stick that carved up Saka Koivu's eyeball. That I actually do hate. I hate their stupid post-game celebrations. I hate that their coach has a stupid apostrophe in the middle of his name. I hate the stupid extra $20 on Kotkaniemi's contract. I hate Svechnikov's stupid Michigans. I hate that they have a whole stupid forward line of guys with numbers in the 80s. I hate Rod Brennan's stupid nickname. I hate Brent Burns' stupid Kit Kat commercials. I hate the stupid Stalls always scoring against Montreal. I hate the stupid way that Raleigh is spelled. I hate Kotkaniemi's stupid mole. That's hardcore. I hate everything about the stupid Carolina Hurricanes. My goodness. Randy went in, and I did, like I said, I had jokes of you saying that was me. Listen, as I get older and I've been in this business for a long time, I've learned to kind of put away some of my biases. But I'll be honest, growing up, Boston, just living in a Habs household, there was always a rivalry there, but the Canadians always had their way. Like in the early 2000s, like they upset those Bruin teams that were like came first and second with like Joe Thornton and off. Like the Habs always found a way to kind of to beat them and upset them. So like Boston never really bothered me. But of course Toronto, but we haven't seen that rivalry. Like they played in the bubble quite some time. The Hurricanes are a team that I think most Canadians fans do not like. There's a couple series back in the early 2000s where they were up 2-0 in those series and they blew it. Cam Ward comes in. They go on to the finals. Carolina's always had Montreal's number. Then you have the whole offer sheet thing with Sebastian Aho and then Jesper Kotkaniemi, the Justin Williams thing. I'll never forget. Like that was a turning point in the entire series. Koivu, like I thought he lost his eye, but man, that comment, that post, just straight up hate. Randy was sick of it the other night watching Montreal. Yeah. And on the cherry on top was Kotkaniemi scoring the shootout winner, right? I mean, that was the cherry on top that set him off.
And I think that's probably where it comes from. But like, look, other than the mole thing,
yes, the whole thing is silly.
It's a little personal,
yeah,
but it's all in spirit of look. He loves this sport and he loves the Canadians, and Randy, or as I like to say, Chris Meaney, is just he loves his team. He loves the Montreal Canadiens, and Carolina Hurricanes over the last 5 years have been a real thorn in his side. Dude, it was awesome. I was dying. I was like crying on the couch while reading it.
Oh, that's good. So what's going on here? Look at the comments here, man. Troy's in the house, man. Salty, diehard MMA podcast, absolutely loving it.
I've never been that upset about anything in my life.
Not even like, no, of course not. And in the middle of the regular season, I think it's just it's taken a toll on him over the years. It really has. It's completely bothered him. There is obviously a rivalry between the two squads with just the offer sheet stuff alone. But, you know, if you've been a Habs fan for a long time, even the Whalers growing up when I was young, I remember like, and I loved their jerseys and logos, and I just like their logo, and I loved everything about the Whalers as a kid. And I just remember Dad like, we got a game against the Whalers tonight. Brendan Shanahan, Pat Verbeek and Ray Ferraro, they're going to light us up. And it was always the case. I want to say what's up to everybody here in the house. Troy Nowak in the house here. 4-0 Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Penguins. You and I chatted. What is going on with Pittsburgh? They stink, and they came all the way back in that game. And Elvis miraculously left mid shutout because he was sick, quote unquote, sick. It's tank for Bedard season. This is the first case of legitimate tanking that he has seen from the Blue Jackets. Hammerhead Union in the house. Good morning, fellas. I'm ready to drop the hammer. You can't trust Bedard contending teams, even if they're in a good shape, because of the tank right now. I'm assuming we'll start seeing minus 500 on teams like Columbus, Anaheim, and Chicago.
Gary Bettman said teams don't tank.
Do you believe him?
He's a lawyer. You got to trust him.
Yeah. I was at 30 for 30. I forget what it was a few years ago about the Pittsburgh Penguins and Mario Lemieux, like getting Lemieux. There was a full tank job there, and it was
100%.
It was successful. They ended up getting number 66. Adam Szymanski in the house. Morning, boys. Morning, Adam. It's been a while. I think since we've seen you on a live show. He is part of the FTN family, very active in our Discord channel, super sharp dude. He's the one that gave us the tip on Erik Karlsson to win the Norris Trophy at 28-1. And dude, it looks like we're there. Josh Morrissey's really knocking on the door, but Karlsson's had such a fantastic season, and he continues to light it up.
I like if he played on a team that had players. Like San Jose is bottom 3 team in the league, right? Like they're bad. They're bad.
Oh, they got waxed the other night against the Avs.
Caved.
The Meth in the house turned $7 into 37 last night. Really nice. Well done. A few small contest takedowns. Wish I entered more. Love the content. We appreciate you, Tim F. I'm not sure if he has the FTN daily package, but we love to hear that.
Is he related to Randy F?
He may be related to Randy. Can you please let us know, Tim, if Randy is your cousin? Adam Recamp in the house here. Happy Roman Yossi Day. Ricard Raquel assists. Here we go. 5 times. Nice. Love it. Yotes, Nashville over. Given plays already. This is the lineup, I guess, that worked out. I mean, Fleury's just been red hot. The Minnesota Wild are so interesting. Last night, they didn't play to the under. I think it was an empty net goal, and they didn't play to the under. but they have played to the under now. Quick math, 16 of their last 19 games. I went back and looked at their 5-5 per 60 numbers according to Agile Stat Trick. Only the Bruins have allowed fewer goals than them at 5-5, but they're dead last in goals for. They're not scoring. Kirill the Thrill looked like I don't know how significant that injury is, but man, Logan Stanley is like huge dude. He fell in him awkwardly. He left that game, but the Wild still are finding ways to get wins, large in part due to their goalies, man. Like they've gotten a lot of wins here with some fantastic goaltending. But good on you, Tim. You had Wallman, who's been great. Elias Pettersson, JT Miller, a couple goals last night, and Chicago won. Chicago won on the board there. Good morning, Diehard MMA Podcast. Tim, are we still waiting? Oh, we're here. I think maybe we're just a little late there, so welcome in. I think we've said hello to most people here. Daily Handle in the house. Let's go, boys. Good morning means an EY. And we have Emmerich in the house. We'll always say what up to the crew. Congrats, Chris, on the Theodore call. Only score of that game, too. Shea's been shooting the puck. He's looked a lot like his old self after, dealing with some injuries and missing some time. Big stage madness. Big stage. I think we're ready to go here. Jason Prince in the house. Meaney and the Madman. Top of the morning, gentlemen. Turned into the best hockey show. We do appreciate you guys. Wait, what? 28 games on the ice today? Pretty close to it, man. Bedard, Coyote, it's fate. Really hope not. Praying for Kaprizov. And unfortunately not. Even more unfortunate, I'm a Blackhawks fan, not a Habs fan. So he's not related to Randy.
Oh, you had your run, buddy. You had your run.
That's kind of what we've talked about. We always want to say what up to the family, and this is a family show, and we do appreciate all the support. And my Canadian family, keep an eye on your mailbox because T-shirts will be coming your way pretty soon. But for the most part, I feel like most of the fans like brutal teams, and we've been over this before, right? Blackhawks fans, Coyotes fans, Blue Jackets fans. We got a few Red Wings fans in here. They got a win yesterday, but they're going to have to win a lot of their games down the stretch here. And then the Habs and the Preds. And with that, we're underway here because there's a lot of games to get to, 11 in fact. So where do we begin? Let's start with Randy's Habs. They're at home tonight against the New York Rangers. Original 6 matchup here. We got Patty Kane on the board and Michael Matheson, who I just keep talking about from a shot prop standpoint. We got plus money on him in his last game, and it was against the Hurricanes. It was a tougher matchup, and he still found a way to get it done and get 3 shots. So you're always calling some goals. I chip in with some goals. We combine on sides and totals, but this is a lopsided affair in terms of like on paper. I'll give you guys some live odds here. The Habs are checking in at plus 225 and the Rangers are checking in at minus 260. We have a goal total at 6.5. What I've noticed from teams playing the Canadians lately, Eric, is that not saying that teams are taking a night off, but some teams are taking them lightly. And the Canadians have this feel of like an expansion squad where they got some younger guys. The effort's there every night. St. Louis has these guys playing every single night. They're competing with whoever it is, like down 3-0 in the third against the Golden Knights in Vegas, thought they were done, came all the way back, made a game of that. The Hurricanes gave up a goal late, ended up losing in a shootout, but hanging around with good teams and competing. And what I've noticed is that teams are rolling out their backup goalies against Montreal. I'm not saying the Canadians are in play here, but if Halak is in between the pipes, former Hab may get the start. This game could creep over the 6.5. And if it is Jake Allen, the Canadians will hang around in this game. But as for Matheson, I think he is a must-add in fantasy hockey formats. He's only 36% owned. He continues to play so much. Again, I feel like a broken record here, but 27 minutes against the Devils the other night, 27 minutes in his last game against the Hurricanes, 27:53. He played 26:57 against Vegas. He is logging a ton of ice time. He's had at least 3 shots in 7 straight games, 6 and 5 in some of those contests. He's on that number 1 power play. When the Habs do get a power play, that's usually when he gets like 2 or 3 shots in a row because nobody else on that power play wants to shoot the puck. So Matheson for me from a shot prop standpoint, but I think this is the game where we will see some success from the Rangers power play. When they acquired Kane, they had no practices really together. I heard it from Gerard Gallant. They had a bunch of games in a row. Now they've had 4 or 5 days off to work on that power play, especially on that first unit. it's not like Kane and Panarin are like you could see the chemistry on the ice, but I feel like with those days off and with extra practice reps, I feel like that line's going to pop off tonight. I think we're going to see a big night from Kane and Panarin.
Yeah, I believe that to be the fact. I mean, look at they have chemistry from before, so it's just getting the reps in practice. I mean, two superstar players like this, it's not going to take them long to figure it out. I think part of that too is like, I think the New York Rangers play a completely different system than the Blackhawks played when they played together. So it's understandable. We see this all the time with new players coming on and taking a bit to kind of get acclimated to the system. And when I say system, it's like, where am I supposed to be? What are my responsibilities? On the power play, am I playing on the wall? Am I playing in the bunker position? When we're forechecking, is one guy deep? Is two guys deep? Are we playing a form of the trap? There's lots to learn, and no, it's not just madness out there. Like there is structure and there is formation to all of this, and they're going to get better. Daily left wing block has got Shesterkin projected to start at a very high rate. They do like a rating depending on if they're sure about it. They seem pretty sure about it, so it should be Shesterkin tonight. That can change. It's guessing goalie starting has been harder this year than I can ever remember. Yeah. Thinking they're not going to play a guy on a back-to-back, or they're going to probably play their backup tonight or whatever, and it's been hard to predict. So just keep an eye. I kind of do a mental thing where I check back in between 4 and 5 o'clock just to make sure. So it's kind of a good policy. If you're playing a bunch of season-long leagues, it's a really good policy to check back.
What do you like for tonight? The Rangers are kind of reeling a little bit, right? 4-5-1 in their last 10. Yeah. They've lost 2 straight. But again, that time off. Don't be surprised if Canadians hang around this game, but the Rangers should win this game. But it's just tough to back a team, on the road at like minus 250, 230, silly like that. But you got a goal scorer. I got Kane here. FanDuel's hanging plus 156.
That's not bad. For me on the Rangers side, I got Tarasenko. He's looked good since coming over. Yeah. They want him to shoot the puck. Their formations and playing on the top line, playing in the top power play. They want him to shoot the puck. That's what they're trying to do. So I like him at plus 150. And Lafreniere is playing on that top power play, playing on that third line, that kid line. But there's just undeniable chemistry between those 3 guys: Hedel, Kakko, and Lafreniere. They want him to be a thing. I still think he can be a thing. I like this player. He's at plus 245. I think he could score tonight. Montreal side, I've got Harvey Pinard, who's been, good. I mean, when you're watching the games, like he jumps out. He's hard worker. I don't think he's a great skater, but for what he lacks out in skating, he makes up with effort. And just got a choppy style and is working his ass off out there. So I like that. Playing on the top line, playing on the top power play, and Mike Hoffman is someone I've really noticed. I think right now maybe playing his best hockey as a Montreal Canadian, and he's at plus 260. They want Hoffman on the power play. That's where he plays, and they want him shooting the puck because that's what he's good at.
Yeah. When I watch that Habs power play, it's really a lot of pitch and catch from Matheson to Suzuki, but it's cross ice to Hoffman, or it's Matheson from the point. So those are 2. Yeah,
that's what the shooters. Those guys touch the puck. Hoffman barely touches it, but when it comes to him, they want him shooting it. That's what they want.
Yep. Yeah, he's right on that bottom of that circle, and he gets a couple one-timers there. So if the Habs do get 2 or 3 power plays, you're going to get a couple opportunities there from Matheson and from Mike Hoffman. It's interesting what the Rangers are doing with their power play, right? I mean, this is the thing. They loaded everybody up in those first couple games, and I just felt like it was so awkward. It was just like Panarin and Kane passing it to each other all the time, and Zibanejad, who's been the shooter on the power play for years, he was kind of in the bumper spot. It just didn't seem like a good spot. So yeah, daily faceoff has Lafreniere, as you mentioned, with Trocheck, Panarin, Fox, and Kane on that first unit. I mean, what a luxury to have your second unit, Kreider, Zibanejad, Tarasenko, Trouba, and Hedel. Like, my goodness, like that is just wild. Bet365, always reference, but for the point parlays, you can do the top line. So you can do Tarasenko, Zibanejad, and Kreider, all for a point. Wow, that's actually really good. I'm surprised we're getting that. Plus 325 for the Zibanejad line. And then if he just wanted to go, and I will be doing this, Panarin and Kane tonight, for both of those guys to get a point. If you wanted to chuck in Trocheck in there as well, that one's not going to be as juicy. That's around plus 100, but I think Kane and Panarin, these guys are going to hit the score sheet tonight. We got a lot of comments. Just want to hit up, see what the people are saying here. Oh yeah, Adam is just like another fan, like from a mediocre team here, added to the greatness of what this is. Flyers, unfortunately, from Shemansky. I don't know what they were doing with like JVR. Like, why even trade that guy? We already had that conversation a little bit. Over under 50. I would say over 50 goal scorers here from EY. Had a good run a few years ago, but God, we have a chance for Bedard. That's the Blues there talking. Mobile sport betting legal in Massachusetts more. Haven't slept in days. Here we go. Jeff, let's go. Love it, man. That's awesome. Good stuff there. Under Habs in New York. You know what? If it is Igor and it's Jake Allen, can certainly get behind that. But if it's Montembeault, if you got to keep an eye, as EY said, it's tougher to predict. It does sound like potentially Igor. Allen's been really good. If it is Montembeault and Halak, we will see a lot of offense. Mike Matheson shots. Yeah, New York Rangers seriously have no idea what they're doing with their line. Sometimes buying people don't help chemistry out. That's a good point too, right? It is a good point. They had something going on. They were really feeling themselves, especially when they got Tarasenko, now Kane. They got some time to figure this out, but about a month really to kind of figure this out. And Igor hasn't looked himself at all, right? He's given up 4 goals or more in 5 of his last 7 games. He definitely has to flip that switch. Rangers future bet. Any chance there's value? Feels like it. I don't know if there's value anymore. I feel like we have them. Like we talked about them in the middle of the season. I have them in the bet tracker at 17-1. Let me give you guys some live odds for the New York Rangers to win the Stanley Cup. I mean, the path is going to be obviously, 25-1 over at PointsBet. That must be like a promo they're running. Prop Shop showing 25-1. Other books have 13. DK and FanDuel 13. BetMGM 12. Caesars at 11. If you could find 25-1 on the Rangers, absolutely worth your time. But again, I think most of the value is in the West because the path is just a little bit clearer. All right, let's continue to
insane, right?
to
like the East
it is.
It's
I mean, Toronto and Tampa going to fight each other, battle out. Then you got to most likely play the Bruins, and then most likely, the Rangers, the Devils, or the Hurricanes. Whew. I mean, yikes. Whoever gets to the finals of the East, I mean, they're certainly going to be playing with a lot of confidence, but they may be banged up just a touch. The Sabres at home here tonight against the Dallas Stars. Let me give you guys some live odds here. Plus 145. I knew there would be some line movement in this one. Plus 145 at home for Buffalo, and Dallas checking in at minus 165. And we have a total here at 6.5. Looking at the updated standings in the Eastern Conference, the Islanders holding down the first wildcard spot, 74 points. The Pens at 73. And we have the Buffalo Sabres 5-5 in their last 10, but they've lost 2 straight. They're at 68 points, 5 back of the Penguins, and with the same amount of games. So they're starting to play catch up with these games, but they do have games in hand. 3 on the Islanders, 2 on the Panthers, 2 on the Caps, who they're tied with. Also, just a logjam there. What a battle it's going to be between those. Even Detroit winning last night, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams battling out for 2 spots. Tonight, though, we could see some offense, especially from the Dallas side of things. Man, Max Domi hasn't been getting the same kind of ice time at EY, but looking pretty good. A pretty decent start for him in Dallas.
Good fit.
He's on my radar.
Really good fit.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas is. Would you be surprised if they played for the Stanley Cup this year? I certainly wouldn't. Ottinger's been good all year, and he found another level in the playoffs last year. Obviously, I think Dallas is much improved, moving out some players, and Max Domi is a great fit there. Really like that player there. Tonight for scoring, though, Robertson, it's negative, but I mean, he's the guy there. I like him, and I like Jamie Benn too, centering that top power play, and has been playing some really good hockey over the course of the last month or so. His demise was greatly mistaken. I feel like he's an important player for them, the captain. And he's playing really good hockey right now. On the Buffalo side, Tage Thompson is a complete wizard. Love watching that guy play. And I'm going with Cousins again. I bet him to score on Tuesday. He did. He's just a
Dude,
really,
you called a
really
lot
good
of
player.
amazing goal scorers, by the way, last episode. Like Alex Killorn,
had a pretty good
Tyler Boyd.
We missed on the Natchez. That's like my guaranteed or scorer. Man, it sucked. He had some chances and looked good in the game, but we didn't get that one to go. But the Killorn call, like I think he's he's a big time leader on that squad, and benching the 3 top players and then getting pounded again the next day. Like, look, the Tampa's going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be tough. It would not surprise me if they played for the Stanley Cup again by looking at their roster and what they've done. But there's definitely something going on there. So it's interesting to see. But those are the 4 scores from this game. This is going to be a good game, man. Really good game.
It should be a good game, yeah. I agree with Adam here on Jason Robertson. As long as he's 3.5 in terms of shot props, I mean, why not? Right? He's got his best price is over at Bet Rivers at -125, but he's not really that juiced anywhere else. So DraftKings got -125 as well. FanDuel -128, BetMGM -130, Unibet at -125 for 4 shots. I like Rupe Hintz for 3 shots as well. I see the Rupe Hintz goal call. I do like that one. Hammerhead Union for sure. Rupe Hintz, but I think there's terrific value on him to have an assist tonight at +160 for an apple tonight. I think we could see some offense here, right? I mean, we know that these teams can score. My one issue is just, Ottinger can just overtake a game, and I could see him potentially shutting out the Buffalo Sabres. But Jason Robertson for 2 points, I think I'm going to do that one. +182 for a 2-point night for Jason Robertson. Hintz is +160 for an assist. And I do like Jack Quinn again. Like, it is a tough matchup, of course, but Jack Quinn, he's still doing things up on that top line. As long as Alex Tuch is out, I'm going to be interested in him. He's +250 for an assist, which I think is terrific value, maybe like half a unit on something like that. He's +130 for a point, Jack Quinn. To score first goal, like 20-1, like he's some +350 to find the back of the net. Like, there's some pretty good odds when it comes to Jack Quinn here. Buffalo's given up an average of 38 shots in their last 5 games. Yeah, they've really given it up, man. And we've talked before that at some point I think they need to figure it out, play one goalie and roll with them. But they seem to be rolling through 3 guys pretty consistently here. Bruzies 91 in the house. Morning, gents. Listen to you at work right now. Don't tell my boss. Hopefully, he didn't hear that. Hopefully, he didn't hear me say that you are working right now. So get those earbuds in there. And away we go. We continue on. The Islanders and the Penguins, a lot on the line, as we just talked about the standings in the Eastern Conference. Pittsburgh at -145. The Islanders checking in on the road at +126. I see over at FanDuel. If you want to back Pittsburgh, -139. I actually don't mind that. -139 for the Pens on home ice. I mean, we talked about it earlier. We chatted about this Pittsburgh team. I mean, Tristan Jarry yanked. I guess they go to Casey DeSmith. DeSmith came in, picked up the W. I can't figure out Pittsburgh. I just can't figure them out. I watch them, and sometimes they look really good. Other times they look so sloppy. They're the oldest team in the NHL. They're big moves. We're getting Bonino and Granlund. Like, nothing that's just earth-shattering. I don't know, man. I give him the edge at home. But it's all about Sorokin for me. Like, that's why he's on the board. Like, he's just the key. He's just the heartbeat of the Islanders, and he could steal a game at any moment. But I'll lean with the Pens here on home ice. You got some goal scorers?
Yeah, I got for the Islanders, Horvat and Nelson. Those are the guys to bet on in that team. Like, I get other people score, but I mean, that's the most likely for me. Nelson's been great all year. Horvat obviously has, had an absolute career year. The Islanders need to win games, right? Like, and so does Pittsburgh.
Both of these.
They're both in just a vicious dogfight. So this will be, I would imagine this is going to be a pretty intense game tonight, from both sides. There is something going on in Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't know, man. It's, there is, they've gone stretches this season where you're like, man, the Pittsburgh Penguins still getting it done. They re-signed these guys, re-signed Malkin, re-signed Letang, have Crosby there. And your big moves was Mikhail Granlund. Thank you as a Nashville Predators fan. Like, I like Granlund, but I mean, to get him off the books at $5 million, like it's a very good move by Poile and Trotz. For Pittsburgh, I'm going Crosby and Malkin. I believe Crosby scores tonight. I believe that he follows this stuff religiously. He's a lunatic when it comes to it. He knows that his team is in a bad way right now, and they need to start piling up some wins if they're going to be in the playoffs, and that's what they want, right? If you have Crosby and Malkin and Letang, you need to be going for it every year. And I think again we're seeing Hextall is just he's too timid, I think, to be a GM in today's game. You can't wait. You're the oldest team in the league. You've got 3 mega superstar players all signed. You need to be getting rid of picks and doing whatever you can to pick up pieces for the playoff runs right now, because this team is not going to be good in 2 or 3 years. They're going to be bad, real bad again.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong. The window is now to win. And yeah, I thought that they were going to be really bad too after Lemieux and Yager, and then Crosby and Malkin fell into their lap. So let's see what happens. The hockey gods give them a couple of other superstars and away they go. I think there was a comment here. I appreciate that. Bruzees will make sure we try to get you a shirt there. We'll check out that email. Timothy Jones at the gym on the bike. Let's go Isles. What's up with superstar Horvat? You know what? I think, Timothy, this is something that we chatted about at the time of the trade. He had a career high shooting percentage. He's a proven goal scorer, and he had shown that, and not just this season, but the year before. But, I guess the goals are just drying up, right? He's got 2 goals in his last, I don't know, roughly 10 games. The shots are there. Yeah. The ice time is there. It looked good early when him and Barzal were kind of flying around the ice together, but then Barzal, suffered the injury, and I guess he just hasn't been able to find that same sort of chemistry. But ultimately, he's still getting that ice time. Maybe the pucks will start to, go in for him, but I think we saw this coming. The run that he was on was just slightly unsustainable, EY.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said this about halfway through the year. Look, poor Horvat is a great player, is a great captain, but this is not the player that he is. And you knew that he was going to get paid. If it wasn't from Vancouver, it was going to be from somebody. But we've got a pretty good history of who and what this player is statistically, right? And what he was this year is not the norm, right? Goal scoring is the hardest thing to do in the NHL. Goal scoring is the hardest thing to bet on in the NHL. And we said it's going to regress. If it's not this year, it will for certain be next year because of his shooting percentage. It's a career year for this guy. And it couldn't come at a better time because he's at the end of his deal. I don't think the Islanders made a mistake in paying him because someone was going to, and it might as well be you because he's a very good player. In all instances, looks like he's good in the room. He's good in the community. He's a good person. He's a good player. He's a good teammate. It's money well spent. But the person we saw for 3/4 of this season is not who Bo Horvat is. And I will fight with anyone that wants to say different.
The chat seems to be all over what is one of my favorite shot props in this game as well as Anders Lee. He's plus money. He's plus 105 over at Unibet and Bet Rivers. DK hanging minus 115. He's been shooting again lately. He goes through these lulls. Sometimes he has 0 shots. Other times he has 6 or 7. His last 3 games, 6, and 3. These 2 teams did play each other on February 17th. It was a 4-2 victory. Actually, played each other a couple times here. February 17th was a 5-4 victory for the Islanders. In that game, Lee had 2 goals, 3 points, and 6 shots. And also February 20th in Pittsburgh, it was a 4-2 victory for the Islanders. He had a goal on 3 shots. So, there was a lull there against Winnipeg and LA. And Winnipeg, again, we only had 1 shot combined in those 3 games. But before that, he had cleared 2.5 and 4 straight. And then he comes in entering a 3-game, 2.5 shot prop over cash sentence that is just not great grammar. But we do like Anders Lee here for 2.5 shots. And I think there's a couple people that are all over it. Diehard MMA podcast. Anders Lee versus the Pens, 6 goals last 4 games. Then we had Adam check in as well. Riding Lee over 2.5, hitting all 3 games against the Pens. He's hitting his last 3 games overall. Some consistency there with him. Sometimes it is as simple as saying, the captains step up in these moments, right? In these big moments, you're talking about Sydney. I think we can say the same thing about Anders.
Lee's having a great year too, right? So.
Yeah, he is having a great year. 24 goals quietly. Nelson goal or point prop killing the Pens this year. I do like it. So let's continue here. There's just so many games to talk about. Philly and Carolina. We can get through this one. Hurricanes at home minus 375 and Philly checking in at plus 310. So, a little bit of a letdown. I think we talked about that. Everybody on the show loved the Hurricanes to smoke the Habs. We were all over Natchez and Sebastian Aho, and we didn't get it. We probably could go back to them. There's really no value to take these guys on the puck line. I mean, Hurricanes to win by 2 is minus 145. That's a bit much. And I'm not backing the Flyers tonight at plus 310 on home ice. So I would say some underrated players that have looked pretty good lately and have had chances like Seth Jarvis, maybe to find the back of the net, Teuvo Teravainen to find the back of the net. But I do like Natchez. I like the shots to continue to come from Natchez and Brent Burns, as well as Gostisbehere looks pretty good on the point as well. What you got over there for goal scorers? You got some Hurricanes. You got a sneaky Flyer.
I'm going back to Natchez. Playing important minutes. They want him to be the shooter on that power play.
Decent price, minus 140 for 3 shots.
He's just such a good player. I just can't quit him.
He's a really good skater. Really good skater.
Yeah. I want him to be in the fastest skater competition every year, but don't get me going on the All-Star game again. And here we go. Natchez and Aho for Carolina, and for Philadelphia I got Hayes having a really good year, making a ton of money, but the Tortorella thing, he's a healthy scratch. He's still having really good year, scoring goals, setting guys up, playing important minutes for them. And I'm going to go with Joel Farabee, and that's kind of a wild name, but he's playing on that top line and playing the left wing, I believe, left wing on the top power play. I love that. Look, first line minutes, first power play minutes, and DraftKings has him at plus 450. So
nice, really nice.
He's a good player. He just hasn't had it statistically. So this looks like a thing trying to get him going by putting him in the top 6 and on the top power play. So if I'm betting on somebody to score for them tonight, that's who it's going to be.
Myron Kidd in the house. Flyers do have an awesome mascot. I do like this call too. Been doing Tippett. It is a decent price because of the matchup. It is really tough. This is a decent long shot play. I mean, there's 13 games. I don't even need to force anything, but you're right to bring him up, Adam, because he has been shooting like an animal. I mean, a couple of times his shot prop's been at 3.5, and I've been like, wow, I kind of lean to the over on Tippett there. 4-1 Hurricanes. I could see something like this. The total's at 6, some spots 5.5. I don't think Philly will do too much. If they get a goal or two, a total will be over. But I do like the Hurricanes probably to win by 3 or 4 goals here tonight. Shane Gostisbehere just needs to be brought up. 3 games with the Hurricanes, 4 points, and all 4 of those points have been on the power play. He's got 8 shots over those 3 games as well. I'm not seeing a shot prop from him, but plus 430 for a power play point. It's not bad. Maybe like a 0.25, 0.5 units on that one. Just a little small sprinkle. But Natchez does lead this Hurricanes team in shots over the past couple of weeks. He's cleared 2.5 in 4 of his last 5, and he's at a decent price at minus 140. That's kind of the threshold for me, minus 140. And even that's a little steep. Maybe you need to put him into like a shot prop or another with somebody else, that's kind of juice as well. Ghost power play point. We all seem to be on it. EY, if Natchez scores tonight, you need to get his jersey. There it is. Natchez jersey.
Good call. Good call, Alan. I'll tell my wife that you said that.
Make sure it's a Hartford Whalers
full
one,
of jerseys
right?
Shows up.
Just for friggin' Randy. Let's get a jersey for Randy.
Just for Randy.
This should be a good one.
Yeah.
Bruins and Oilers, Boston at home, minus 179. Let me give you guys some live odds here for Boston, minus 167. The Oilers checking in at plus 143. These two teams played a highly entertaining game just a couple weeks ago in Edmonton. I thought the Oilers had a really, really strong effort, almost came back in that game. I think it was like they were down. It was a 5-on-3 for Boston with like 2 minutes left, and the Oilers had a couple 2-on-1s. They almost tied that game up. We should really see some offense in this game. I even think that the Oilers can do their part, couple goals here and hang around, but it's the Boston Bruins world, and we're just living in it. These guys have just been fantastic all year long. What do you got over there? I'm feeling like you got a Tyler Bertuzzi goal. I know we haven't chatted about this, but I feel like you got something Bertuzzi over there.
I don't actually.
Okay.
He has looked good, right? I mean, dude, he's such a Boston Bruin.
He just fits
played
in
on
perfectly
Detroit
with their
his whole career, and then he goes over there, and you're like, yeah, of course he plays in Boston. Yeah. Of course they got another player like this. Of course, Boston. It's crazy. Edmonton side, I'm going McDavid and Draisaitl. Boston, I'm going Pasta and Marchand. This will be a great game. There's a bunch of really good games tonight. But this one should be real good.
Yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi's shot prop's like 2.5 plus 140. I'm not going to get behind that. He only had one shot in his debut. He's playing on that third line, but I wouldn't be surprised if at moments they move him up potentially up and down the lineup. But I'm going to go with Jake DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk hasn't really been shooting lately. The past couple of games, only four shots over his last 3. But I just, the ice time's there. I love the matchup. It's minus 120 for 3 shots. He's plus 180 for an assist tonight. He's minus 130 for a point. That's a pretty good one. You usually don't get a top line player on the highest scoring team in the NHL minus 130. So Jake DeBrusk for a point at minus 130. And I've been doing Bergeron. He's not the same Bergeron, but just because of who he plays with, Patrice Bergeron is plus 175 for an assist tonight. So definitely getting behind that one. And those are really just the 2 plays. I like those 2 plays from that one. Yeah, Bruins at home, unstoppable. Yeah, I mean they really are. What's
it would appear that way?
They are 26-2-3 on home ice. They've won 10 straight games.
Is that
overall. Good? That is pretty good. They have 103 points. 103 points. My goodness. The next closest team, the Hurricanes, have 92 points. Man, this Bruins team. They're definitely going to go for the record. They're on pace to have the record as well. Orlov's a pretty good call, right? We should bring up Dmitry Orlov is what they're calling him in Boston. You know, Bobby Orr. This guy had roughly 20 points. Guys. That's what they're calling him. Yeah. This is what I hear.
They do all kinds of things in Boston.
He enters on a 4-game point streak. He has 6, 7, 8, 9 points over that span. He has 3 goals. He's got 2 power play points. The first game he played, he was on the 3rd pair, and it took him 1 game to get on that top pair with Charlie McAvoy. He's plus 140 for an assist, but I like the point. Plus 100 for a point tonight. I do think the assist prop is okay. Most likely, if he gets the point, it's going to be an apple. So I think it's a little bit safer to go with the plus 100, but I think the assist prop is in play as well. Orlov is incredible. It's just another addition, right? That just seems just so perfect for the Boston Bruins. It's a defenseman that's just really, really good. And as we said, the rich get richer. He plays tough. He's smart. He's got a little bit of offensive firepower to his game as well. And he looks really good alongside Charlie McAvoy. Bruins win. You're not backing the Oilers.
I'm not betting against Boston at home. I mean, no, you just read out the stats. I mean, it's not likely that they lose. Maybe ever again. Who knows?
Alex Killorn goal. Lightning at home minus 166. And we have Shea Theodore and the Vegas Golden Knights checking in on the road. We have live odds or plus 146 for the Vegas Golden Knights via FanDuel. And minus 162 at Bet Rivers for the Tampa Bay Lightning. As I mentioned, you called Alex Killorn, a fantastic call from you. The Lightning did break out. It was the Flyers. Flyers did score an early goal, and I was like, oh, here we go. What's going to happen here? But Tampa ended up coming back. I thought Kucherov looked motivated. He did look like a guy who was playing on a mission, and you mentioned Killorn is the leader on that team, found the back of the net and got them going. But Shea Theodore, right, referenced him in the last show. I think we just brought him up as well here on this show. as a guy who's been jumping up in the rush. He does lead the Golden Knights in shots on goal over the last 2 weeks with 25. He's got goals in back-to-back games. In fact, he's hit the score sheet in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of his last 11 games. He has 11 shots in his last 2 games. He's cleared 2.5 shots in 4 of his last 6. So I do like Shea Theodore on the back end, not to score a goal. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he found the back of the net, but I do like the over on his shot prop at 2.5. And although we didn't get it the other night with Barbashev, I still think the process is correct. This is a guy that was averaging like 15 minutes with the Blues. He's played 19 plus minutes in 2 of his last 3 games. He's got 5 points over his last 4 games, and he's been shooting the puck. So Barbashev, I think, to hit the score sheet. Shea Theodore is minus 135 for 3 shots. And Barbashev is plus 122 to pick up a point, plus 225 juicy odds there to pick up an assist. What you got? It should be another fun game.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, Vegas is battling for their playoff lives. I got Eichel, who's been playing. I mean, he's statistically not been great the last little bit, but he does kind of look like Jack Eichel again. And they need him to be, right. No Mark Stone. No is Pietrangelo still
out? Pietrangelo, I think he's fine, actually.
Okay.
Double check.
I thought I saw something about that the other day. I may have dreamt it. No. I got hockey on the brain.
I think he dreamt it, bud.
Okay, that's fair. Eichel at plus 170 and Amadio. He's playing on the second line, but what I like about betting on this guy to score tonight, he's playing on that top power play. And as a guy that's kind of stepped up for them and had, some kind of secondary scoring and playing on the top power play for Vegas, I mean, I like it. He's at 310. So on the Tampa Bay side, going away from Killorn because I think Stamkos scores tonight. He's on a bit of a drought, and I think they're going to want to get the captain going. So I like Stamkos and Point to score tonight for Tampa.
Love it. Sergachev is a good call. We had him as like a core play in the last game because of Victor Hedman, and he picked up a couple apples. I'm not seeing anything for him in terms of like point props or assist props. To see a shot on goal is minus 200 for 2 shots. That's crazy. He's plus 640 to score a goal tonight, but he did, with no Hedman. We saw him kind of jump up, right? In the line, played nearly 25 minutes, 24-57. He picked up 2 assists and 4 shots on goal. I think he could get a couple shots here tonight, but my goodness. I mean, if there is a guy that's due, it's Stamkos. He's been just absolutely invisible and quiet over the past little bit. Eric, bang on with that Killorn goal on Tuesday. Guys lighting it up now. Absolutely love it. It was a fantastic call, and you got it early. It's nice to get those long shot goals early. And we're going to say goodbye to Game Plus Network. We do have, of course, a few more games to dive into. The Ottawa Senators, I think the other only Canadian team we haven't addressed just yet, a matchup against the Kraken. Do you have a goal scorer for Game Plus Network? I want to say Jason Robertson, but the odds are not fantastic. But what do you got? Who's the goal scorer for you? For Game Plus, the Game Plus.
The guy that's scoring for sure tonight is Brady, the captain, Tkachuk.
Okay, so we haven't gotten to that game yet, but Brady Tkachuk, the captain. I think we're going to see that should be another fun game. Ottawa got spanked in their last game against the Blackhawks. I mean, I think they'll bounce back here tonight. All right, Brady Tkachuk. For me, it would be Jake DeBrusk. I think Jake DeBrusk for me. I think he finds the back of the net against the Oilers. We'll say goodbye to Game Plus Network. Appreciate you. FTNbets.com/free, FTNdaily.com/free. Use the promo code Meaney. Save yourself a little bit of cash. All picks across all sports over at FTN Bets, and DFS articles every single day over at FTN Daily, projections, tools, Discord channel. It's all there for you. Have a great Thursday. We will see you on Tuesday. Hop on over to our FTN Network YouTube page for the rest. Cheers. All right, let's DeBrusk season. Yes, let's go. Really good. I mean, good player. Really good player. And I understand why he was picked off.
Yeah.
This time last year, he wanted more ice time. Yep. And if he didn't speak up, I wonder if Boston would have put him on that top line. And he just fits in so nicely on that top line.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease, man. It took me a lot of years to understand that. You're never going to get what you want willingly. People just aren't programmed that way. Sometimes you gotta speak up. You can do it in a polite way. You can do it in a respectful way. But if you're sure of something, you better open your mouth because no one's going to do it for you.
Jacob in the house says, Troy, I'm sorry about the Elvis tank job on Tuesday, but as a diehard Pens fan with fading hopes on a bet for the Pens to score 100 points this season, I thank you and the Columbus Blue Jackets organization sincerely. Troy's probably like, yeah, whatever. Troy comes out with Elliot Friedman saying Hayes to Columbus this summer. You don't want him. That's all I'll say. I don't think you want him, dude, in that $7 million contract. You got to stay the course. Stay the course. Get the picks. It's going to be a painful couple years. I understand you got Line A, and you could get Bedard, and then the change could happen quicker. But that is a lot of money, Goudreau, and I think Boone Jenner's up in a couple years. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you'd be a better team with Hayes and Bedard and Line A and Goudreau and Jenner and company. Man, rough go for the Blue Jackets and some injuries. Zach Werenski's a stud too. All right. I think we got one more game board to show you guys, and it is a Brady Tkachuk and the Ottawa Senators here against the Seattle Kraken, minus 133 for the Kraken. My goodness, is there anything more automatic these days than Jared McCann? Like, we just
wild,
every
right?
single is crazy. This guy is just scoring every single night. His shooting percentage also seems unsustainable, but he's just scoring goals. Like, he's got 5 goals over his last 5 games. He's cleared his shot prop in 4 straight games. He's plus 105 for 3 shots tonight. Yeah, I'm going back to it. He's plus 182 for an assist. He's got 3 assists in his last 4 games. He's picked up 5 assists over his last 7 contests. He's minus 145 for a point. It's a little juicy, but I just have a hard time believing that he's not going to find the back of the net tonight. Let's keep an eye on Vince Dunn. If Vince Dunn doesn't play, he left the last game. I think that Justin Schultz would be almost an automatic play in DFS for me personally. He's got at least 2 shots in 4 of his last 5 games. He's got 3 points over that span, 1 power play point. So he'd just get a little bit more ice time and he'd play up on that top line. But Jared McCann for me in terms of shots, points, I think he finds the back of the net again. Why not? Let's go to it. What do we got? FanDuel's usually the best price. Plus 162 is not bad for a guy coming in that hot. You like Brady Tkachuk, but the guy that's been basically automatic in terms of shot props has been Tim Stützle. Tim Stützle is just quietly having
what a player, man.
Really, really good campaign. He's so young. 31 goals, 35 assists. He's got at least 4 shots in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games. He's cleared 2.5 in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of his last 11 games. He's minus 160. So who was the guy that we liked at minus 140? That was a little juice. Natchez. So Natchez in with Stützle. There you go. There's your parlay. Those 2 guys. I like Stützle a lot, and I like McCann a lot. What you got over there?
On the Ottawa side, I've got Brady Tkachuk, obviously, and Alex DeBrincat. And on the Seattle side, Mr. Automatic, Jared McCann. Sounds funny. And Jaden Schwartz. He's still playing important top 6 minutes for them. Playing on the top power play, is a really good player. And if I think he can score tonight, and I got him at plus 250.
Nice. Someone else who's been shooting a little bit more lately, and we both expected more from this player. Like, Alex DeBrincat's got 20 goals. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice season. Didn't he have like 40 last year? I understand he's playing with Patrick Kane, but he's been shooting a little bit more lately. He's minus 124. It's been a while since we've been able to get DeBrincat at that price. I know it's Seattle and they suppress shots. They don't give up a whole lot at 5 and 5 per 60, but he's still in that first power play. It just takes a couple power plays. Minus 124 over at Bet Rivers to have 3 shots tonight. And Jordan Eberle isn't a candidate for an assist just because McCann scores every night. Jordan Eberle is plus 142 for an assist. And these are actually really good odds for Jordan Eberle. Can we get behind the shot prop? Send that over to the people in the chat. Can we get behind a Jordan Eberle over 2.5 shot prop at plus 146 tonight? He cleared against Colorado 3 shots. He had 3 shots against the Blue Jackets. He had 4 against the Bruins. He's been shooting the puck. He's been picking up some apples because of how good McCann is. But can we get behind that? What do we got here? McCann goal, Eberle assist, Bernier's assist. Bet365 is your friend if you have it. Those three guys that hit the score sheet, you're going to get that at pretty good odds. It all makes sense. Yeah, I think we're on this. Eberle assist with McCann just shooting all the time. Timmy shot prop, lock it in. Love it. Berzis 91. Tell your boss, Tim Stützle, over 2.5 shots tonight. Tell him that's a bet you like and win him some cash. Kraken in 60. Who do you think wins this game tonight? Think the Sens bounce back?
I do, yeah. And I mean, look, I mean, I'm an Ottawa
5 straight
Senators
wins for Seattle
fan. This is an Ottawa Senators show. We've said that in the past. Seattle is, I mean, a great surprise. I mean, super fascinated by what goes on with them and how they do in the playoffs. Ottawa's every game's a playoff game for them right now. Right? I mean, they can't afford to lose, and I think they're going to be highly motivated. I think it's going to be a really good game. Yeah, I think it could be an over as well. But I think the Senators win this tonight.
It's tough. Seattle's just playing good again. This should be a really fun game. You're right. I like the over. I think we're going to see some offense. Yeah, keep an eye on Vince Dunn, Hammerhead Union. If he doesn't suit up, as I mentioned earlier, could see Justin Schultz in there. So, all right, we're done with the game boards, but my goodness, there's still a couple here to kind of break down. What haven't we hit on? New Jersey and Washington. New Jersey and Washington. This should be a good one. How about Rasmus Sandin? There's another guy. You need immediate pickup in fantasy hockey. I mean, just kind of buried on the Leafs roster, not getting a lot of opportunity to play. And, you know, not breaking any news, but when you play with Alex Ovechkin on the power play, you know, you're going to pick up points. Gustafsson was having a great season. He was piling up all these points. Gustafsson goes to Toronto. His value down, drop, immediate drop. Now Sandin goes the other way and gets that ice time that Gustafsson was getting and gets that power play opportunity. 2 games with Washington. He's got a goal and 5 points. He has 2 power play points. He's got 6 hits and he's got 1 shot there. So not shooting a ton, but a guy that's looked really good. That's really the only capital I like, just maybe from a DFS standpoint, but I think we got to go back to Dawson Mercer. Right, he just continues to get points. What's he at, a 10-game point streak now? Minus 130 for a point, plus 166 for an assist. And Books finally put his shot prop up. I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. I did play it against the Leafs, and I don't think he had a shot. He had 0 shots against the Leafs, but he's plus 142 for 3 shots tonight. Man, that top 6 is just so lethal now that Timo Meier's there. What you got?
I'm going with Hughes and Mercer. New Jersey's going to be dangerous, dude. I mean, if they even get decent goaltending out of Vanacek, they're going to be tough to stop, man.
I think they might beat the Rangers. I know we've been on the Rangers, but
I love the Rangers too, dude. There's going to be so many good teams eliminated in the first round of the Eastern. Like, it's kind of sad thinking about it, right? How many good teams that went for it are going to be on the outside looking in come round 2. But this Hughes and Mercer on the New Jersey side, and on the Washington side, Ovi and Oshie, the O boys.
Most of the crew's feeling Ottawa here. Just wanted to bring up the Berzis and Troy likes the Sens.
I love Seattle, man. I love them.
But
they don't have to win this game, and Ottawa does.
Mm-hmm. Mercer.
It doesn't mean it couldn't go the other way. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm not going to bet on it. Because, I'm not.
Come on, coward. Bet it. Bet the over. Just take the over.
I might put Ottawa in a sides parlay.
I wondered about Jack Hughes. I'm keeping my eye on Jack Hughes because now he's playing with a volume shooter and Timo Meier. But Jack Hughes at 3.5 at minus 122 is not too bad, right? You know that he could overtake that a game at any moment. He's minus 122 for an assist, which I usually don't get involved with the assists when, you know, they're not plus money, but minus 122, like I got a feeling he's going to Washington. They're hanging around, but at the same time, they do seem checked out. They're giving up a lot of goals. Kemper has not been fantastic. So I do like the Devils I do like the Devils to win this game. And Jack Hughes at plus 145 for a 2-point night isn't too bad. But Dawson Mercer, let's ride this out with Mercer. Minus 130 for a point, plus 166 for an assist. I got Hughes for the shots. A lot of people seem to like some plays here. You know, Palat for a point is interesting. What it does, like with the Devils acquiring Timo Meier, and everyone will easily talk about Meier and Hughes and Bratt and then Nico and Mercer, and then Tatar is benefiting from playing on that top line. He is interesting to pick up a point tonight, but it just gives them a lot of stability. It just makes them deeper. Now all of a sudden they have a third line. Like Palat has been playing some top 6 minutes when he's been playing, but he's probably better suited for a third line role. And that third line is playing good. Palat has been good over the past couple games. So it does, more balance up and down the lineup here. We need to organize a Dangle Batselli road trip next October, Seattle trip. Seattle's high on my list. I think we've touched on it a couple times. Kraken, you get the Mariners, you get the Seahawks playing there. A nice little fun environment. I kind of lean to the over here too.
Visit with our good friend Allison. We've had her on our previous show. She's awesome. I chit chat with her every now and then. I know it's come and gone, National Women's Day, but like shout out to her.
Absolutely.
Shayna Goldman, Sarah Sivian, so many, awesome women doing awesome things in sport. And I didn't have the show yesterday, but I'm wearing my Marie-Philippe Poulin Team Canada jersey for National Women's Day. And she might be the most clutch hockey player ever.
Oh, yeah. I would agree.
Man, woman, or child. She's an absolute superstar, man.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to her for sure. I love it. Great jersey. And great women you mentioned as well. We both had the chance to work with all three of them over at The Athletic, and they are all fantastic. I like the Devils tonight, -146 to win the hockey game. I do have a lean to the over. Okay, so we have 3 more games to get to. San Jose, St. Louis, Nashville, Arizona, and LA and Colorado. Let's start with the Blues and the Sharks. We have the Blues at -140, and then San Jose checking in at +125 here tonight. This isn't a game, honestly, with all these games. I'm not watching this one. Won't have it on. Maybe watching 3 at one time. This won't be one of them. I can tell you that. And I actually don't like a whole lot. I think Jordan Kyrou finds the back of the net, and I do have my eye on William Eklund. Just
look at us.
Just my eye on it. We both in lockstep.
Yeah, Jordan Kyrou and Buchnevich. Buchnevich is playing some really good hockey for St. Louis right now. And on the San Jose side, I got Couture, still a great player, and just plays in a bad team for an organization that doesn't seem to have a lot of direction right now, but he's a great player. And I got Eklund. He's playing on the first line, playing on the top power play. They want him to be a thing, and they're just waiting on him to prove it, and it could start tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're really giving him an opportunity, right, to get it done and playing with.
It's so cool to see, the bottom teams like Nashville, like looking at their lineup. It's, Angelista, Jeff Merrick talked about him. I think it was yesterday, played, his minor hockey and had I want to say Jeff said he had 79 points in 30 games. Then he goes to the London Knights, and the London Knights are a mega power, and he's not playing top 6, and he's not playing power play, and he kept with it, ends up becoming the captain, ends up getting drafted in the second round. And watching these young guys play is awesome. Dude, every game he's saying, I want to stay on this squad, right? He's in a 2-way contract. They can send him down and try someone new whenever they want. And guys like Eklund and Evangelista, Harvey Pinard, right? All these guys, there's no guarantee that these guys are going to be on the main roster next year.
No.
But watching them play and watching how hard they play, the players don't care about Bedard. They don't care about the draft. They care about the game right now. And it's still some pretty good hockey, but I'm with you. I'm not watching San Jose and St. Louis.
Buchnevich is +140 for 3 shots. He's got 10 shots in his last 2 games. I mean, the ice time has been there. He's played 21 minutes in each of those 2 games as well. So I think it's a pretty interesting bet. He's also +188 for a 2-point night. Jordan Kyrou would be the goal scorer for me, but Buchnevich does have 4 goals over his last 5 games, and he does have 3 multi-point games over his last 4 as well. So +188 may not be a bad long shot there for Pavel Buchnevich, and Eklund is +100 for a point. I think I saw a comment here from Jeff. Yeah, both of these teams, right? Top 10 and 5-5, high danger goals for and goals against. Interesting. What I've noticed from the Blues since they traded Ryan O'Reilly, they've given up the fourth most shot attempts at 5 and 5 per 60. You trade away your best defensive forward, that's what's going to happen. You're gonna really notice that, especially with the 5 and 5 play. Logan Couture is an interesting call as well. Points in 7 of his last 10 games. I've been riding his shot prop. I'll probably stay away from that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does hit the score sheet. Colorado and LA in here next. Avs at home spanked the San Jose Sharks the other day. We have Colorado checking in at minus 155 and then LA at plus 140. I don't mind those odds for the Avs, minus 155. I know that LA's a strong team. They got 3 lines that can play. But Colorado, I just feel like the switch is kind of flipped. They're getting healthy again. As long as Nichushkin and Makar are in the lineup, right? I mean, that's not breaking any news, but when they're in the lineup and they're healthy, the team is just rolling. And those guys have just been, It's been such an issue for them to stay consistently in the lineup. Yeah, Avs to win the Central plus 145. Take it before tonight. I think we jumped on it on the show at like plus 330, plus 340 a couple weeks ago. But yeah, plus 145 is not bad. Although, the Wild are winning games and they got a lot of ground to make up still on the Dallas Stars. It was a tough loss against the Stars that they had. They do have some games in hand, but tonight I do like the Avs to win on home ice, and I'm going to Nichushkin. I think Nichushkin finds the back of the net tonight. He had a big game the other night.
Look at us.
I can just read you like a book. I just know you know so well.
You can. I mean, I love Nichushkin as a player. We've talked about him for years. I wrote about him when we worked at The Athletic. I said, look, guys, he's going to be a player. Like, no, he hasn't scored a goal in Dallas. It's like, I don't care. He's a thing. And well, here we are. He's one of the most important players for Colorado. I got McKinnon as well. On the LA side, I'm going Fiala, and I'm going back to Kopitar. Man, like, what a player, what a captain. Like, when they need him most, here he comes. Just taking over games, holding the puck, scoring goals, setting guys up, playing physical, doing whatever it takes. Kopitar has strapped LA to his back at this point, and I feel like he's going to will him into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I think the Kings are going to make it. Nate McKinnon's plus money for 5 shots. I think he's always in play. I know he hasn't hit the past couple of games. I do believe he's always in play, even though he will go up against 2 strong defensive centermen in Kopitar and Philip Deneau. Kempe's juiced at 2.5, but I don't mind him. And Victor Arvidsson's at 2.5 is also juiced at minus 143. But Victor Arvidsson is, you know him more than anybody, but he does lead the Kings in shots over the last 2 weeks with 28. The next closest guy on LA is Kempe. Yeah, loves to rip it. 7 shots in his last game. Look at the last few games. 7, 4, 5, 6. He has cleared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of his last 11 games. Victor Arvidsson. And then the last game of the night. Oh, baby, we saved the best for last. You and Diehard MMA podcasts both be in tune watching this one. Preds and Coyotes, Arizona at plus 145. Nashville checking in at minus 164. I think we saw something from, was it Adam earlier? It said Roman Yossi Day. He's just juiced at minus 160 for 4 shots. I've never seen a defenseman outside of Roman Yossi have a shot prop at 4.5. That's just crazy to feel like a defenseman will get 5 shots. But I mean, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Yossi. Bet Rivers has him at plus 115. But this is another guy that I think you can put into a parlay with some of these other guys that we've talked about as like juiced players. But Tyson Barrie in 3 games, 10 shots, a goal and an assist. He's been shooting. And then Roman Yossi hasn't had 5 shots.
Oh, you cut out there.
What you got going on over there?
I'm going with Matt Duchene to score for the Predators at plus 130. I mean, obviously, with no Forsberg, he's their most important offensive player right now. And they've been moving their lines around a lot, which I mean makes sense. There's a lot of new guys in the team right now that a couple guys have left the team, so they're trying to figure out who works where. A guy that I've loved and I talked about it very early on, Tommy Novak. I can't remember who it was, but it was some Czech guys that do like player cards and through analytics. And Tommy Novak is one of the 4 highest rated analytical players in the whole league, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is I don't know the numbers. I don't, I know what analytics are and I know how to look at them and read them a little bit. But for me, I still count on the eye test the most. And watching him last year, I was like, this guy does everything right? He never makes mistakes. He never makes a bad play. He never gives the puck away. He's always in the right position, making the right play, and is a pretty decent skater and slick with the puck. And he's getting some minutes. They have him saying that he's playing on the top line right now with Angelista and Duchesne. So I'm going to go Novak and Duchesne for the Preds, and for the Coyotes, I'm going back to Keller, of course, and I'm going to go back to Lawson Krause as well.
Nice. It's your boy, Krause. 2 goals in his last 3 games. He's been shooting as well. Yeah, that top line in Arizona, I mean, you're not wrong here. Diehard MMA podcast. I mean, they've been playing really good. We talked about Keller, just so underrated, right? I mean, nobody's really talking about him. He's basically a point per game guy on what is a brutal hockey team. We didn't get his shot prop in the last game. I don't mind going back to it because the Preds have given up a lot of rubber at 5-5 all year long.
Yeah.
So, but he hasn't cleared in a couple, right? Just the last, he's cleared in 2 of his last 3. 4 of his last 6. He's at a good price at -118 for 3 shots, but I think Nick Schmaltz for an assist, I think, is definitely in play at +125 for an Apple. He's got 4 assists over his last 6 games, and Bet365, I do believe that line with Barrett Hayton will hit the score sheet, all those guys. So I'll go Hayton goal just because I'm always feeling Hayton goal. But Keller is a great call, and I do like the 2.5. I got Tommy Novak here for -116 for a point. I think that's pretty decent. Just because the minutes playing good, you give some good analytical stuff there, and plus, next to Duchesne, which really is Nashville's best forward in the lineup at the moment. Alamaki, wow, been playing him on DraftKings. Just Chikrin gone. I got him in my DraftKings lineup
as well.
Yeah, Veggie is a net. We got Yossi has scored 3 or 4 on him. Yeah, Yossi's just a stud, right? Yossi scores every game, every damn game. All right, let's wrap up and get out of here. It's been a lengthy show. We appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. I'll start here with size, and we'll kick it over to EY here. I think the Hurricanes win. I think maybe I might do 0.25 units on the Hurricanes to win by like 3 goals tonight. I see like a 5-1 victory or something like that. Carolina lean to the under 6, but not my favorite bet on the board. I do like the Dallas Stars tonight, even though they're on the road up -165. I'm going to back the Pens at home at -139. I'm going to back the New Jersey Devils on the road at -146. I like the over in San Jose and St. Louis. I like the under in Arizona and Nashville. I like the Avs at home at -155. I am going to go with the Kraken. It seems like most people here on the show like the Sens. It should be a fun game, but my favorite play in that game is the over 6.5 between Ottawa and Seattle. And that's really it for sides and totals. As I mentioned, if it is Halak and Montembeault, I will lean with the over 6.5 between the Rangers and the Canadians. And the over between New Jersey and Washington. I like that one as well. I want to find a dog here for you guys. It's probably Ottawa, right?
It's Ottawa.
Yeah, it's probably, man, Aiden Hill's been playing really good. If Aiden Hill's in net for Vegas, is he hurt? Did he get hurt the last game? I can't get behind Quick. I'm not a big Quick fan.
Quick's supposed to start. I have Aiden Hill on a couple of my teams, and I picked him up when, oh my God, Thompson went down. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's hurt.
All right, go ahead. Goal scorers. Give it to you.
All right. Eichel, Amadio, Point, Stamkos, Tarasenko, Lafreniere, Harvey Pinard, Hoffman, Robertson, Ben, Tage, Cousins, Horvat, Nelson, Crosby, Malkin, Farabee, Hayes, Natchez, Aho, McDavid, Draisaitl, Pasta, Marchand, Hughes, Mercer, Ovi, Oshie, Couture, Eklund, Kyrou, Buchnevich, Kopitar, Fiala, McKinnon, Nichushkin, Brady Tkachuk, DeBrincat, McCann, Schwartz, Duchesne, Novak, Keller, Krause. The locked-in guaranteed goal scorer from this side is Brady Tkachuk, my captain and yours, and the 8-way Maniac Parlay goes as follows. Robertson, Thompson, Stamkos, Crosby, McDavid, Brady Tkachuk, Tarasenko, and Horvat.
Ooh, Bo. All right. Breaks out tonight. Horvat. Okay. Like it. For me, for goal scorers, I like Jason Robertson for a 2.9 at plus 182. I like his shot prop at 3.5 as well. I like Rupe Hintz to pick up an assist at plus 160. And I do think Hintz finds the net. I think both of those guys will have a 2-point night. I'll go with Rupe Hintz. You're with Jason Robertson, like both of those calls. I think Jack Quinn for a point too at plus money is pretty interesting for the Hurricanes. We're going back to Martin Necas, but I do like Seth Jarvis tonight to find the back of the net for Carolina. I think, 4 or 5 goals for the Hurricanes tonight, maybe a little sprinkle on a power play point for Shane Gostisbehere. Hurricanes roll against the Flyers. For the Rangers, I think Patrick Kane finds the back of the net for them tonight. I think he gets his first goal as a Ranger. I like Michael Matheson for shot props. And again, Zibanejad, Tarasenko, and Kreider are plus 325 to have a point. That's over at Bet365. Anders Lee shots, Anders Lee goal, Jake Gensel goal for me. For the Vegas Golden Knights, Shea Theodore for shots. And I don't know. Braden Point didn't do it the last game, but I wouldn't be shocked if he did have 3 shots. For the New Jersey Devils, Dawson Mercer for a point at minus 130 for an assist. He's plus 166. Jack Hughes, minus 122 for a point and plus money for a 2-point night. And I think Rasmus Sandin should be maybe not a must play in DFS, but someone that you should definitely have your eye on is a guy that is still pretty cheap and is logging a ton of ice time. And he's on that top power play for the Washington Capitals. I like Jake DeBrusk for shots, and for a goal for the Boston Bruins, and Patrice Bergeron is plus 175 for an apple. Pavel Buchnevich is plus 188 for a 2.9. He's also plus 140 for 3 shots tonight. I do like Jordan Kyrou to score a goal and Eklund for a point. And for your Preds, I got Tommy Novak for a point. If I was to pick a goal scorer, it would be Matt Duchene. And I like Clayton Keller again for the 3 shots and Nick Schmaltz for an assist. And LA, Kempe, Arvidsson shots, Nichushkin goal, and we have Nate McKinnon for 4 shots. Tim Stützle is probably my favorite play on the board for shots just because he's been so consistent. He's a little bit juiced, but again, into a same game parlay there. And then we have Jared McCann, and I like Eberle to hit the score sheet as well. We did it. My goodness, there is a lot going on here. EY hitting the Maniac 8 tonight. Let's go. Woo. Bet the pizza money, boys. Pizza money. PTP 8-leg lunatic psycho maniac parlay. Great show, fellas. We appreciate you guys. It's like an hour and 20 minutes here. Mean Street starts in 30. Got to charge the earbuds. We have Matt Modique on the show with a little bit of baseball talk on Mean Streets. We're going to preview the NL East. I know EY is going to tune in live for that. All right. Yeah. So from Eric Young, Fox helping us out with the boards, George as well helping us all the time here on Mean Streets. We appreciate all the support from you guys. FTNbets.com/free, FTNdaily.com/free. Still a lot of hockey left. We'll be with you all the way until that Stanley Cup is risen, as you see there, both of the websites. Free day trials on both websites over at FTN Daily and FTNbets.com. So for myself, Chris Meaney, and Eric Young, appreciate you guys. Have a good night on the ice. Great weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday. Cheers.